Welcome to Where Passion Meets Purpose. I'm your host, Jen Mentasana. On this show, we help busy moms and entrepreneurs find more passion and purpose in their daily lives through inspiring stories and interviews. Welcome back, everyone, to Where Passion Meets Purpose. Thank you so much for being here and from tuning in again. I hope you're getting something out of each of these episodes, even if it's just one little spark or nugget that's helping you think about what your passion and your purpose may be in this lifetime. So I'm calling this episode Tapping into Your Purpose because it's something that is not always so easy to do. I think we all think at some point in our life, oh, my purpose is to be a mom, or my purpose is to be the caretaker of my family, or my purpose is to be the breadwinner in the family. But really, our lifelong purpose was bred deep into us from the time we were born by our Creator. And we have gifts and talents. And I'll say this over and over again in every episode. We have gifts and talents to share with the world that are unique to us, that God created us to be, and to live those out fully in this lifetime. And I believe, and this may be controversial, but I believe that we are here for a purpose and that we must live out that purpose, or we come back to live that purpose out again in another lifetime, because we are here to learn lessons. And that's really the true meaning of life. May get a little controversial there, but that's my belief. And you're entitled to your beliefs, but that's mine. So having said that, when we talk about tapping into our purpose, it's not so clear and easy to do. Sometimes our purpose gets revealed. Sometimes we go down a path of maybe caring for someone in our family, and we learn about ourselves that way, that we're really good caregivers, and that becomes who we innately feel like we were born to be. And that's wonderful. I spoke about on the last episode about how I was born to be a dancer and to be on stage. And while I didn't become a dancer, I am still living out my purpose of being on stage, communicating with all of you, communicating with women all over the country about how to help them tap into their purpose. And that is my purpose. And it's funny to me that it started out as a little girl, wanting to perform on stage. And even younger than that, my mom told me a story not too long ago about how I was a little girl and I used to dance in front of the television when the evening news came on, and the evening jingle came on. And there was this female news anchor that I just loved. And I would dance in front of the television set every time she came on. And so when my mom told me that story that recently, I had never heard that story before. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. That was in me from the time I was a very tiny, maybe 2 years old. So we are all brought on this lifetime with certain gifts and talents and skills, and we are meant to share that with the world to live out our purpose. And so I want to help you tap into that. So one of the things that I always suggest doing, and you're going to hear me say this over and over again as well, is to always start your day out in gratitude. Get your energy aligned with your higher power. And the easiest and quickest way to do that is through practicing gratitude. So you can literally sit up in bed before you even get out of bed. Sometimes I like to go get a cup of coffee first. Just kind of gets me into my day nicely. But I'll go pour myself a cup of coffee and then get back in bed, or go sit on the couch in the morning light and just sit down and focus on 5 things that I'm grateful for. It is the first thing I do every single morning, and it gets my mindset in the right place of receiving. Because when you're grateful for things and you appreciate things, the universe automatically sees that you're in that energy and you're in that flow, and things start flowing back to you. And so it's the best way that you can really set yourself up to tap into your purpose, because then all of a sudden your energy is opened and aligned to what the universe wants for you. So that's the very first thing that I suggest when people ask me about tapping into their purpose, is get in gratitude. You can also go for a walk, a hike in nature. Some people like to run or do things that like gets their body moving, because it really opens up their energy centers. And I do believe that there's a lot of physiology out there, studies that show that when our body and our physiology is open, that we are in a better mental state. So I definitely suggest doing that if movement is really important to you. If you can do those two things first thing in the morning, it will be the best way to start your day and get you open to receiving and get you aligned with your purpose in the first place. From that time, I would just sit down and make a list of all the things that you love to do. And when I say that you love to do, I mean, listen, I love to go out with my girlfriends and drink cocktails or champagne and have a girls' night, or go on vacation, or, watch my kids play sports and watch them thrive and grow. And those are all amazing things that I love to do. Those are gifts and those are things that I'm grateful for. But they're not things that I love to physically do myself for me. So what I mean by that is, for example, when I get up on stage, the minute I get up on stage, it's like I'm becoming this whole different person. It's almost as if my shell of my body has come away from me, and my soul and my spirit is out there and open. That's what I'm talking about when I say what you love to do, like you come alive. I spoke a little bit about that when I talked about being on stage in the school play or speaking in front of my class in forensics. When you come alive doing something, some people who are really creative come alive when they're creating with their hands, or there's some people that come alive when they're doing, mathematics problems. Totally not me. But they love to figure problems out, and they can do it for hours and it doesn't feel like work. That's what I'm talking about. Write down those things that you love to do, that don't feel like work, that give you joy, that may not be the things that you have to go purchase to go do, like a trip or a night out or whatever. We all love those things, but I'm talking about things that come from inside of you. That will give you your first hint on what your gifts and your talents are. And your gifts and talents will point you to your passion and then to your purpose. So that's what we're really talking about here. So if you can think about things that you know innately that you've always been good at, maybe you always have been good at writing, or you've always been good at organizing and you're really organizing. There's some people who are, this is a gift that they have. I am not that person. I have to work really hard to be organized. And I'm more organized in my business and in my home. And then when it comes to like my own stuff, it's all over the place, but I'm getting there. The point is, we're not all great at everything. And we all have these innate gifts and talents. And it's about tapping into what those are for you. So if you can do that, you can start to put together a list of all the things that you love doing and that you're really good at. And usually those things are aligned. You love doing them and you're really good at that. If you can hone in on just that, you have already done what so many people don't have, the insight to do. So you've already got this insight about who you are, what your gifts are, and what your talents are. And these are things that other people can see in you as well. And usually when they tell you oh my gosh, you're so good at that, you're really good at that, innately that that's true. And that that's your gift. So these are the things that I'm talking about. So from there, you can literally take that list and you can start to flesh out the types of businesses or the types of jobs or the types of hobbies that you can step into and use those gifts and talents. And over time, as you tap into those things, you will see that if you are really meant to do that, if that is truly your purpose, the universe will open up and start showing you the path towards your true purpose and what you should be doing with your day-to-day life. And I mean, set everything aside. We live in the real world and we live in society. And yes, of course, we need to make a living. And yes, of course, you have things to do and families to take care of and people to take care of and responsibilities. I'm talking about if you're in a place where you are ready to truly tap into who it is that you are meant to be in this lifetime, go down this path. And I promise you, we will open that door for you. I promise you, every single one of us is meant to do this. And maybe right now isn't your moment, but maybe if you're listening to this podcast, you know it's coming. And there's coming a time where you really do maybe have a good 30 years left in you, or 20 years left in you, or even 10 years left in you to really go for it and try something new. and live, full out in the best life that you deserve to live, then this is the road you want to go down, because this is the road that will lead you to fulfillment and joy. Now, I have to say, I got to a place in my life not that long ago, a couple years ago, where I had accomplished a lot. I had gotten my life coach certification. I had been a life coach for several years. And then I started a business with my husband, and we were running restaurants and ended up having to close one, and now still running one more, and then now taking that business to another venture. I have accomplished a lot. I have 3 beautiful children. I'm fortunate enough to live in a beautiful community. I have all these amazing things in my life. And I could have said, I'm good. That's enough. I've done enough, and I should pat myself on the back and say, I can ride the next, 20 years cruising, or even 10 years. My kids are out of the house in 8 years, and I could do that. But there was a part of me that knew deep inside of me that I had more that I still had yet to do in this lifetime. And I better get going if I want to do it. And that's where I'm talking to those of you who know you're feeling that right now. You're feeling like there's something more that you still have yet to do in this lifetime, and you want to tap into what that is. And I'm here to help you with that. So keep listening, keep tuning into the show, subscribe, download, share it with your friends that might be interested, and let's explore together. You never know what you might find out. And you're going to hear some amazing stories from some of the most incredible motivational speakers, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, business owners, you name it. I'm going to have some incredible guests on in the coming weeks and months. And I can't wait for you to listen to all of them and hear their stories. And hopefully they'll inspire you too. So thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you soon. Thank you again for listening to Where Passion Meets Purpose. If you're enjoying this show, please subscribe and download it so you don't miss an episode every single week. And if you think you have a friend who might benefit from listening, please share it with them as well. If you'd like to contact me, you can always reach me through email on my website at jenmentasana.com and my social media, Jen_Mentasana. And you can DM me there, and I'll always respond, and we can connect about topics on the show or anything else you'd like to discuss. Thanks again for tuning in.